Hey, good evening, people. Good evening, people. How's everybody doing out there? It's your boy Gene Woke coming at y'all with another episode of Black Fist Motivation. All right. So basically, this week I'm coming at y'all from North Carolina. Your boy had to leave town for a couple weeks, but don't nothing stop the show from moving. Show gonna always be on every week. So y'all appreciate y'all for messing with your boy and tuning in to the show. Uh, let's move over to Shandine. What you got?
Just want to say hello to everybody. Sorry we couldn't make the show for yesterday, but like Gene said, it'll keep moving forward. So hello everybody, followers, supporters.
Okay, I got you. Trey Gooch, what you got, son?
Well, world, it's your boy Trey Goose. Like Shandine Jean said, the show must go on.
Hmm. Danny G, what you got?
What's good? What's good? I ain't gonna say what they said. What's good?
All right, y'all. We got a. Hold on a second. Think we got a good show for y'all coming up this evening. But before we get into all that, before we do all that, we're gonna hop into this music minute. You know what I'm saying? So this week's music minute, I want to hear what y'all vibing to right now. So Trey Gooch, what you got?
Uh, I guess quickly. I guess it's an artist. I guess she's been out for a while. It's Season SCN. I never really heard her, but I guess she had an album came out today. I'm gonna listen to it. It's kind of good. Got a couple features on there. Kendrick, Travis Scott. This dude named James Florida, something like that.
You need to get
So
closer.
I don't
You
know
need to get closer to your receiver, son. We can't hear you.
about now. How about now?
So,
You hear me now?
nah, hold on, bro.
Pass to somebody else.
Hold on. Nah, he's straight. I can hear you now. What was you saying?
Yeah, so I'm listening to this person named Season. She's a female artist. I think she's been out for a while. Just now listening to her. Her name is like SCN Season. It's pretty straight. She got like a couple features on there. Kendrick, Travis Scott. And I just heard some new music from my boy Danny G. You know, guys support. You know me. Link gonna be in the description. You feel me? G Season.
Shit, that chick. What she rap about though? Like, what kind of rapper is she though?
She like one day she supports for like love and stuff like that. Like I ain't really let me see. Like this. It's an album cover. Season.
She looked good.
It's pretty good. Smooth melody. I think the female group will like it.
What you got, Danny G? What you vibing to now?
Man, I listen to so much different stuff. I just discovered on Travel Dot 3 this Jeezy and Chris Brown song called Pretty Diamonds.
Who and Chris Brown?
Jeezy.
Oh, Jeezy.
Yeah, Jeezy and Chris Brown.
Okay.
Yeah,
What that song
Pretty
called?
Diamonds. Pretty Diamonds. You look better than some pretty. How much? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it hit.
Pretty little
So
thing. How much?
I've been bumping that Travel Dot 3 lately.
Okay. That's some cool. What you got, Shandine? What you vibing to?
Um, well, nothing really. I've kind of been out of the loop a couple of days. But I actually did want to bring up a group that kind of ties into our topic today, which is cultural appropriation. There's this group. They're called Coco Avenue. It's a girl group based out of, I believe they're from Alabama and Mississippi. I believe that's where they're from. Anyway, but they really take to the Korean culture, and they went out of their way to raise awareness for cultural appropriation and made their girl group, Coco Avenue, and they learned the Korean language. They learned Hangul, how to sing, rap, took the fashion and everything. So I thought it was pretty cool, and the music that they sing is pretty good too. They're actually very big in Korea now.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. So right now I'm vibing to I'm I'm on the old school tip right now. I guess it's considered old school now. I'm on Drew Hill. I just drove
Mm.
about 17 hours and I listened to every album Drew Hill had put out. Every last one, a couple of them twice. Most people don't know that they came out with an album in like 2010 that was reminiscent of the originals from the 90s, you know. So if anybody got a chance, or if y'all got a chance, go ahead and YouTube or Google. Shit, I don't even know the name of the album, but they got a song called Love MD. The shit is dope. So if you fuck with Drew Hill and you like the old school tip, you just want to hear some of that old school R&B, go ahead and download that new. Well, it's not new shit. 7 years old now, but 2010 album from Drew Hill. Anybody got anything else to say before we get into this topic?
You
No.
know,
All right, Shane Dean, I'm gonna let you introduce the topic. Go ahead.
So today's topic is cultural appropriation. Um, at a standpoint, well, I don't really want to give it a standpoint because we have all different types of opinions, but from a standpoint of adoption or use of other cultures by members that's not of that culture. So that's today's topic, cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation. Trey Gooch, I'm gonna let you lead off with the discussion. What you got?
I think culture is like a big thing going on right now. I'm gonna say one of the things that I disagree with. I disagree with how the quota pipeline. I think that's a whole fucked up situation. Like a lot of running water going through there and all that. And history has repeated itself with the pipes busting and stuff like that. And I think it's gonna bust again if they put that pipeline down there. It's like a big pipeline going through what Dakota. What else is going through Shanghai? Dakota, I think Canada. I'm not sure.
Um,
Up north, the pipeline goes through sacred native lands.
Yeah.
But cultural appropriation in a sense of, like cultures taking from another one. Like,
yeah. So,
for,
so
for,
yeah.
for example,
You on the right track, Gooch. But we're not talking about the actual fucked up acts that's going on. We're talking about like kind of like getting more
adapt,
meticulous and
uh,
in the weeds and the nitty and the gritty of how and why certain things happen. And
like adapt to
say,
another
go ahead,
culture.
G.
like like adapting to somebody else's culture. Like I can use appropriate example. Like let's say like African Americans. You know how we started the whole rock and roll thing, or everything they put on an African American viewpoint is a negative cultural appropriation in a sense. Because if you look at it like the sagging of the pants, when you think about that aspect of it, that's something that's tied into African Americans. If you look into being a thug or something, they tie that into African Americans. So we're talking about like as a whole culture, not just like going to Korea, or we can talk about that in America, because not only is race is kind of like a culture, if you want to be specific about it, even though race is really non-existent, is made up only in the United States. But let's just say that each race or ethnicity has their own culture, so it's adapting to one's culture in a sense.
I like it. So what I want to do is now that we've basically described what the topic is, I want to actually get into the weeds and the cracks and the crevices about it. So So for the next few minutes, I'm going to be asking you guys what you guys think about certain issues. All right. So let's talk about, for starters, let's talk about let's see what we got. So let's talk about the whole hip hop genre. Okay, we all know hip hop is just, it's not just music. You know, it's dance, it's style, it's fashion, it's language, it's slang, and all that. This, that, and the third. So speaking of fashion, all right, what can black people, how do we dress? Is there a certain way we dress and be automatically labeled in most situations, and versus other, I guess, races and whatnot, would they get the same amount of, I was flat out disrespect that we would get? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Do I need to clear it up a little bit more?
I can answer your question. I understood what you said.
Go ahead.
You're basically asking, is there a negativity? You said like with music, or is that what you talking about? You just said.
Well, not just music. It could be music, yes, but I'm talking about hip hop culture. Like as you all know, we as black people created the hip hop culture, and now it is
Mhm.
somewhat bastardized and copied and manipulated all over the world. To one point, we don't get credit. Two, it seems as though something we created is demonized, whereas another culture can adopt it and it be praised. You see what I'm saying?
So what's your question?
Hip hop.
What'd you say, Gooch?
What's your question?
The question
Like,
is, the question is like why and what. So let me give you an example. Okay, weave. Women wearing weave. Okay,
Mhm.
whenever you see a woman, a black woman wearing weave, what are the automatic slurs
She's
and
bald head.
yeah,
She
boy.
Yeah, she doesn't have any hair. Her hair could be not of a good grade or something. Anything. I mean, but it's usually a negative aspect behind it that people view it in. Yeah,
is usually negative, right? So
yeah.
if somebody from another race were to wear extensions, weave, what do you hear about that? About them?
Um, they just wanted it. It was a fashion statement, a fashion sense, or they didn't feel as if they wanted to do their hair that day. It's no negative condensation behind it.
Big facts. But why is that though? Why is everything, or mostly everything, that we created is demonized, but is praised when other people do it? Like why? Why is that?
Because we demonize it.
What
You
you mean?
got to understand, like, as African Americans, right? Like, we can see in a whole cultural sense, okay? Who in the African American, I can say, race, who in the African American race demeans, talks down on, and like tries to make a fool out of us? We
Come
do it
on.
more to ourselves than any other race does it to us. They feed off of that type of stuff, and they look at it in a sense of, let's say other races, the weave thing, that's easy. So let's say you see a girl, like we're men, we know when that's a good weave and when that's a bad weave,
Facts.
you know. So like, if we see that, we're not trying to uplift at that moment. Our first thing is to be negative towards the person and be like, you bald headed, or you even see a girl with weave, you be like, you bald headed and your track showing. You say something that's negative. You know what I'm saying? But if a white girl go to her crib with her white boyfriend, he gonna say, "Oh, baby, your hair looks wonderful," and she's like, "Hey, but look at this girl right here. It's an African American. They talking down on you." You know what I'm saying? See, that's the problem with us in a whole cultural sense. Like, we hate and demoralize each other so much. that it feels as if it's second nature to the world to do. Because what's the first thing they say when an African American kills another African American? They say, y'all killing each other. So why are y'all mad at them killing y'all? You know what I'm saying? And how can you answer that? In all
Well,
honesty,
that's
how can you
different.
really
That's
answer
a
that?
that's a hell of a lot different right there.
I don't think it's different. It's not different. If I go up to you, I can see why white people say nigger or nigga. I can see it. They hear us saying it. They hear you saying it.
No, no, no,
Well, what's the
no, 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 no. You just hit two different points. What I was saying is different is the whole crime thing. That's not even close to being the same. But the whole nigga thing. Oh yeah, of course. Like niggas can't get mad
but
at white folks for saying that shit when we
it's
just
the
throw this shit out
same
all the time.
thing though. It's the same thing though. People killing people, yes or no?
So you saying that it is the same when let's say when a cop come up to let's say your brother, all right, your blood brother, come up and kill your your brother in your face. And let's say you done killed somebody before. You not gonna feel any hatred for that cop, knowing
Come
that
on.
your
You're,
tax dollars pay his salary. You pay for him to protect you and not kill you.
Jing,
Now hold on, let
Jing,
me finish. All right, your tax dollars don't go to some random dude on the street. Your tax dollars don't go for that. Yes, you definitely should be mad on both sides, but there is a more uh, I don't even want to say the word business, but you get what you pay for. So if you paying for somebody to protect you and not kill you, they should uphold that and not be in the streets killing people.
okay, well let me yeah, that point isn't valid at all. Because you're saying that just because it's a cop that it makes a difference. You're trying to make it into something. That what you're doing is
It's
saying,
a big
oh they
difference.
hold on. You said,
The fuck?
oh they work for us. We pay them tax dollars, all this bullshit. So what about niggas getting killed for shooting dice, niggas getting killed for going to walking in another person's house and they having sex with a girl. So you're saying I should have a different type of hate because it's a cop? I should feel
Yeah,
extra angry now because it's a cop.
and not
I don't need to be
necessarily
angry at
extra
the dude.
angry, but different angry.
I
Yes,
don't
of course.
I don't need to feel the same type of anger that I felt towards the cop that I felt towards that African American male who killed my brother over dice. I shouldn't feel it different.
No, 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 no.
I can
We're not talking about
you can try to
feelings.
make
We're
it,
not talking about feelings.
but
Because
that's
death
the
is death.
but the
So we
act of
definitely
being
not talking
angry
about
is a
feelings.
feeling.
We talking about what people are paid to do. Just like just like let's say when two Mexicans kill each other. Have you ever heard somebody say Mexican on Mexican crime? No. Have you ever heard somebody say white on white crime? Have you ever heard somebody say Chinese on Chinese crime? You ain't never heard that before. I promise you that. You ain't got an answer because I already know the answer.
Yeah,
You ain't never
I mean
heard
I
that
heard white
before.
on white. I
So
heard white on white.
so why is that only applied to us?
I don't think it is.
I
I,
think I
Go ahead,
think
Shanti.
cultural appropriation isn't just with African Americans. It is everywhere. Be it that African Americans do have it more exploited, but it comes in all shapes and forms. Be it music, be it fashion, be it a business ploy, be it sports team mascots. It comes in so many different shapes, and maybe half the time some people blatantly don't know that they're doing it. But like Halloween could be a good example of cultural appropriation. It's like opening the floodgates for people to be racially charged. You know what I mean?
So
So when Go ahead.
so you and I we just talked about this a couple days ago, and it's something that I was very ignorant on. Because I mean, honestly, I just never even thought about it being like that. So we talked about Halloween and when folks dress up as Native Americans. All right, you are Native American, right?
Right.
Navajo to be exact. And so whenever Hillary Duff, whenever she did whatever she did and dressed as a as a Native American. Honestly, I looked at it and I was like, oh well, okay. I ain't never think nothing of it because number one, I'm not Native American, so I can't really, I can't tell nobody how they should feel. So in turn, I never even thought about it like that. You know what I'm saying? I would just look at it as a costume. Never once,
Right.
never once taking into consideration how somebody else may feel about it. So with that being said, how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I get upset. Yes, I do. I mean, there's tons of things that go on here in Colorado where we have, the Native Americans will dress up in their traditional outfits and do, like night dances. But you can hear people not of that culture. Oh, you guys have great costumes, wonderful costumes, but ignorant to the fact that it's actual traditional memorabilia. And it's it's only frustrating because it makes me mad, but it's frustrating that people are a little bit, well, not a little bit, people are ignorant to the fact that you don't know another person's culture to be speaking on it too much. Like we have people can get tattoos, like the whole Asian culture. A lot of Asian tattoo artists, went and lashed back and fought back toward people wanting to get like scripts and whatever written in whatever language and wrote random, like a random tattoo, made a random tattoo, and it says other things than they thought it was going to say. you
Mm-hmm.
know and you have these sports teams that have all these mascots, that, I mean, I'm not a mascot. Being Native American, I'm not a mascot. It's a way. It's derogatory. Just like how our also African American culture is taken and applied to other areas. It's derogatory. It's derogatory because that's where it comes from.
So, are you offended by a team being named Washington Redskins?
It's offensive, yes, because that doesn't depict what a Native American is. All you see for that is the red skin, the headdress, feathers, face paint. Not all of that depicts what a Native American would be, you know,
Mm.
and or even for a black woman, you know, she can be everything thick, have everything aesthetically, but people want to talk bad about her when she's in sports and she's too muscular, but then they turn around and see a white woman who's extra muscular and she's too beautiful, but they could be like why is that, you know
So, uh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was actually gonna say something about that. So just to put it in perspective of what she's talking about, um, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody on this video feed right now has heard all the derogatory slurs thrown at Venus and Serena Williams, right? They, I don't heard it all. Like, look like gorillas, this, that, and the third, and they probably are the best two female, if not the best two tennis players. Period. Right? Arguably, of course, but
right.
they always get all this negative attention. Whereas you have other females in the sport, such as Maria Sharapova. They're glorified, for like their features in their game, which their game is not even on the level of Venus and so. Well, I'm gonna say Serena Williams because she's better of the two. But no matter what, they are they are not demonized. They are glorified more than the people who are actually better than them. Why is that? Is there? Maybe I'm ignorant on the subject. Maybe y'all know something I don't know. So is there a good reason for it, or is it just baby bat bullshit?
I think it comes to a point where it's more about branding. It's branding off of cultures or exploiting off of cultures, because like who are the number one people branded or exploited that everybody can make money off? One shot, one kill. African American people. Why? We're multi-talented in tons of aspects. There's so many
Entertainment
things that
aspects.
entertainment, fashion, hairstyles, you know, like we could get like our hair braided, you can get some clean lineup, and then everybody else wants to do it. And it looks twice as clean on the person who's less of color, you know, because they exploit us, and they want to let you know that it's easier for us to look like this because you can bring it out, but we are going to exploit you for it and then make the money off of you.
You know, that damn thing we can do about it. Like we can, but we
It's like
lazy
with
as
black
fuck. We
females
don't want to do
with
nothing.
Bantu knots, and all of a sudden now white people wearing Bantu knots and all that shit. I think black people we do it like they swagger jack us from the most. Like they had a like what Kendrick said in the song, whites that do the dad, blacks that act white, like shit like that, man. Like they do demonize our music and say it's bad and this and that, but some of our music is good and they take a lot from our music. They take a lot.
I got a question. Trey, what's acting white and acting black?
I mean, I don't think me personally, I don't think there's a such thing as a black person acting white. You feel me? Because normally when people say that, like, oh, you act white, it's probably because they're educated. Feel me? They talk proper, like all that. So that's what that is. People that say they blacks act white, I don't think they act white. They just talk proper.
So do you
So
think whites act black?
Oh yeah, they like to sag their pants. They wanna do this and do that. Like it's
so
yeah, I think they do.
two things with that. Number one, that whole acting this, that, and the third, I think is 90% garbage and does not exist because number one, a lot of people actually live like that. Like grew up urban. You know, I know I grew up with white guys, and I know white guys who actually speak in a urban accent. Got it. You know what I'm saying? They're not acting. They're not putting on. That's just them. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you wanna call it acting, this, that, and the third, see them when they not around you. See them when they go to work. See them when they hop on the telephone. You know what I'm saying? Then you can be able to actually judge them. See them around their family and their friends. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, some people actually do grow up like that. You know, and you got black people who actually grew up on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Speaking proper English, using your e's and r's. Like I don't think that is subjected to one particular race. That's asinine. That's foolishness if you actually believe that. You know what I'm saying? So yes, some people would just put on. You got white people who put on acting like this, that, acting like they're urban. You got black people who put on whenever they answer the phone. So
Cause that
you know what I'm
at
saying?
the at
Go ahead. Go
that
ahead,
just,
Chief.
that just go to show right there, like how can you put such a negative condensation on us and then put some positivity on them? Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
acting white. Then you be like, oh, he must be proper. He got an education. And you
Right.
like, man, you acting black. Oh, that mean you don't know nothing. You ignorant. Like you know what I'm saying? You can't pronounce stuff right. You just all bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they love to say acting white, acting black. Like, what is a me and my partner was talking about this. Like, to be honest, some African Americans live within that mind frame. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That they're not educated. They know they're not educated. They know where they came from, and they're cool with that. But that's when people that are African Americans with educations, some of us have to dumb down how we speak to them and speak to other people. Like he said, I can't go in a room full of white people that's corporate level, right? And then like speak how I would talk to you or speak to anybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta turn up. You know what I'm saying? In a sense of being intellectual. But when you go to where you from, if you from that part, so you gotta calm yourself down sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like when I talk to some of my partners, I calm how I am down. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say I'm smarter than them or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of adapting to your environment. But the question that we asked each other was, why should you have to adapt to an environment like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why should you have to dumb down something that you used to go through? You know, so
Me
that
personally,
whole acting.
I see what you're saying. I don't like, I know people do it all the time, but I don't. There's not. I don't. I guess I don't fluctuate levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like now, I'm about to go home in the next few days, and I'm gonna be around kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna talk to them exactly the same way I go to work, talking to the bosses, the big bosses. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I guess everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? That don't necessarily make you a sellout or a coon, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But it's just maybe, just like you said, maybe the people you hang around, maybe your family, maybe they are of severe lesser education level. And they just don't understand what the hell you saying. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it just differs from each person. But I do want to ask y'all a question though. A couple questions that'll lead up to a point. All right. Do y'all use the word nigga? What'd you say, Shandine? You say yes?
Yeah.
Say yeah too.
You say
In a certain, of course, it's going to be in a certain environment.
a certain environment.
I ain't gonna lie,
G,
I say
Huh?
do you use the word nigga?
I just said nigga, yeah.
That nigga say nigga all the time.
you feel. I say that shit all the
So
time. Like, and still gotta stop me.
say
But hey
what?
man, you got nigga. I say nigga so much. They be trying to stop me from saying nigga. I can't help it, man.
All right. So what would happen if somebody white just walked up to you and be like, "Hey, what's up, nigga? You doing
I,
alright, nigga?
I want to go
Shit, this
first.
my motherfucking nigga right here, man. You my motherfucking nigga." Well, he walk up to you and just, you know what I'm saying, just or somebody you ain't even expect to say it. Somebody you probably been knowing for a couple years and whatnot, and he ain't never even said the word, but he just walked up to you and just bust it out.
I ain't gonna lie, right? So if somebody say like, hey nigger, you feel me? I'm gonna take offense to it. But if somebody say nigga, I'm like, all right, you know, he don't mean nothing by it and shit like that. I ain't gonna trip about it. And then if I be defensive, they're gonna like, you feel me? It's gonna be a certain type of way. They gonna think how I'm thinking. But nah, I don't take offense to it. If somebody say nigga and shit, we talking, they say nigga and shit. I'm like, all right, like, come on. I ain't gonna trip about it. I'm not. But if somebody come to me like, hey nigger, goddamn this and that, I'm a trip. I'm like, hey bro, like disrespectful. Like, I won't ever say that. I won't ever say that
So
to
if they
you.
come at you with it like as a term of endearment, you cool with it. But if they come at
No.
you with a murder tone, you fucking nigger, then you got a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
I don't think there's such a thing. I don't think it matters if it's a ER or a GA. If it's coming from maybe people that you don't know. I mean, you can know this person for years, but it's about how much room you're going to give them before they take the whole mile. You know what I mean? How much are you going to let them in? I think it should, if it happens, it happens, but it's something that needs to be addressed. For one, you don't know what their intentions are using that word. If they ain't never said it before and you've been knowing them for years, then why now?
What you got, G?
What do I got? That's what you just asked me?
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm an educated black man. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I can say I smack the shit out of them. I mean, 9 times I can tell you something different than what I would actually do. That's what I'm gonna say
Say that
because
one more time.
I
Say that one
don't.
more time. Say that last part again.
I said I can tell you something different than what I would actually do. You know, I can say something and my action might be different. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I can't really, I can't answer that question on how I react. It's never happened to me though. It's never happened to me in life. And I don't think it'll ever. You know what? I said that to somebody. I said I don't ever think in my life I would be called a nigga by another race. I give off too much of a aura for people to even think that was cool or think it was all right with me. So I don't know, bro.
So
I don't know. I can tell you something. I can tell you I might do something, but might be different at the end.
So basically, I mean that's real shit. So it's just
Hey, we
like
got to call.
anybody can say what they gonna do, but until you actually in a
Uh,
situation like that, you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
hey, bro, we got to call her. We got to call her. Hey, what's up,
Okay.
man? State your name. Where you from, man?
My name is Deshaun Godbolt from Patterson, New Jersey, man.
We
I just
got.
I've been following y'all and looking at all y'all videos, but I just have time. I'm trying to look soon now. I'm at work too as well, so you're talking about shit. I'm not getting sidetracked. I'm just trying to do my job as well.
All right, that's cool. Hey, Gene, can you hear him or do you want him to call your phone?
Yeah, go ahead and call my line, bro.
Hey, let me give you the other dude number because they can barely hear me over here. I got you.
Okay,
All
thanks.
right, bet. I'm about to send him your number, Gene.
All right. So while we do that, so as you guys know, we got the live feed, the live comment section over here on YouTube, and you can also call in. My number is 785-761-6245. I'm gonna say it one more time. 785-761-6245. All right, y'all. So if anybody want to call in, y'all just let us know. Hold on, look like we got a caller right here.
Colleen.
Hello.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, bro? Hey, you on live Blackfish? Go ahead and state your name. Where you from, bro?
Hey, my name is Deshaun Godbolt. I'm from Patterson, New Jersey, man. I just
Jersey in the house.
Yeah.
We in the building. We in the building. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in too. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get down. I think I'm pretty aware of what's going on in today's society, especially in the young black man
Right.
in the military too as well.
Right.
I mean, by far it's not easy. So, but I know one of y'all topics I was just hitting. I was commenting. I don't know if y'all can see my comments on YouTube, but it was about other races using the word nigga, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the young female said, it doesn't matter. Now this is my opinion though, and also some of my experience too, being from the hood like most of us are.
Right.
It don't matter whether you use an ER, you know what I'm saying, or AR. At the end of the day, and I think the other guy said he doesn't necessarily care if somebody else uses it. I feel like that's a contradictory only because, truth of the matter, a lot of black people, you let too many white people slide away. If we quote unquote cool with them, now I have to use cool loosely, very loosely, because you can't erase our history. You can't erase the past. The past is the past. So you can't act like their grandfathers and their grandfather's fathers didn't enslave our people. We try to put that shit on the back burner and act like it never happened, and it did happen. So we can't allow them to continue to use that word, but just because we quote unquote cool with them, give them a pass to use it because now the something we're cool. To me, that shouldn't slide at all. But not to be a hypocrite as well. Yes, I use the word nigga a lot to most of my friends and most of my family. So that's something we have to learn how to break within ourselves first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but that's really a good topic to speak about. Really a good topic.
Hey man, hey bro, I appreciate the call, man. I heard you say you been following us, man. We appreciate the love, man. We gonna take you with us wherever we go, bro.
Yeah, that's my boy too.
I'm just trying to get in where I fit in, you know what I'm saying? And so the only way we're going to be able to keep advancing as a whole and as a race and as a group, you have to keep uniting each other. You have to keep enlightening each other and making sure that we're staying together as a group. That's the only way. And it's not about surpassing anybody. It's about staying together. You know what I mean? There's so much we can do together versus alone. But
Big
until we get
facts.
to that mind state, that's the only way we're going to be good within ourselves. Too many of us black people, we worried about being accepted by other races. Even in nature. You think lions worried about being accepted by fucking giraffes and shit? No. We
Big
have to learn how to
facts.
stay together. It's the same thing. We got to learn to maintain what we got together. And then if people want to accept us for who we are, then so be it. But they're going to still exploit us, take our culture, take our money, like y'all was talking about earlier, black businesses. We give so much money to everybody else, and we don't have enough for ourselves. So we can't create any other opportunities for each other because we keep giving it to other people.
Big facts. Big facts. Hey
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
Hey bro. I rock with everything you just said, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the phone call, man. That's good stuff,
Oh,
man.
yeah, no doubt. No doubt, no doubt. It's all love, man.
Alright, bro. You be easy out there, bro.
All right, no doubt. You too, peace.
Peace.
My boy Deshaun.
I
he
do want to touch
he
on something that he did say, though.
go ahead.
Um, Being that we shouldn't allow, I think everything that we're doing as African American culture in a whole, taking back things that are ours, like the word. You know, when we use that, it's something that we're taking back. We're not gonna let that be a demeaning term for us, because we're gonna take that word back. Just like with weaves, like women who wear weaves or extensions or whatever the case may be, wigs. You know, the mainstream right now is like everybody is wearing wigs, everybody's wearing weave, everybody's wearing an extension. That's cool. But what you see a lot of black women now doing, more and more every day, wearing their natural hair, because a white woman can't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't wear the natural hair that we have. So why not, take what it was already ours and what's already there and just leave it at that? You know what I mean?
I feel
It's
so.
just I feel like I think we're kind of in a wave of taking things back that belong to us. And they can have everything else because a lot of that stuff is enhancing, you know? We already got everything. They're using that to enhance themselves in a way.
You're right. Point out two things that he said and give my 2 cents. He when he was talking about saying the N word, I'm actually glad he called in before I gave my piece, because call me a hypocrite all you want, but I'm smacking the shit out you. Like, there's really no talking. I use the word nigga every day, probably a good 600 to 700 times a day. But I was in that situation in Europe. Dude kind of got froggy, and he leaped. Just smacked him. Bow. That was it. I ain't had a peep out of him since. Got it. I know they use the word when we not around. Just like G said, ain't nobody ever said nothing to him, but I'm pretty sure he knows they use this shit probably more frequently than he does behind his back. They just not brave enough to say it to his face. You know what I'm saying? So I could be a hypocrite. I'll admit it. Yes, but you just not just gonna use that around me like that. You know what I'm saying? He already hit on all the history and all that. Second thing he hit on was he hit a nail on the head with, he basically just summed up the whole fucking show in like a few words. Who gives a fuck what they think? I wasn't even planning on touching on that. I'm glad he did. I ain't even think about it. Who gives a fuck? Why do we give a fuck? Danny G, what you think?
Man, I want to hit on something he said, and it was some real shit,
He
boy.
said
When
some
that
real
boy,
shit.
yeah, that's my boy. Hey, when my man said, "Why are we worried about being accepted? Lions don't worry about being accepted from giraffes," and that was just, bro, that struck me, bro, because
Bro, I swear we putting that on a t-shirt.
I always say this one thing, bro. And Gene, you got so hyped when I said this shit. Like I said, it is so easy to fit in and so hard to stand out, bro.
Facts.
Like
Big facts.
people want to be accepted so bad they want to fit in that they start to look like everybody else around them. But the motherfucker that goes right instead of left that everybody is going, they talk about him. They in a sense glorify him too, because they are using so much energy to look at him while fitting in with the crowd. But let alone they are glorifying this dude and putting him on the highest of the highest pedestal. But that's the same, it gets mixed up between being separated and being a negative person, because negativity gets glorified also. So do you
Facts.
want to be in that same light? You know what they use African Americans for? For entertainment, for negativity, and they point and laugh at us. And other African Americans love it too. Loving hip hop, perfect example. That's the best example I can give ever.
Facts.
You are in tune to tune in that show every week. They got you programmed to tune in that show. You calling off work to look at this show. You neglecting your kids to look at this show. That's down in your people. I don't fuck with World Star and I don't fuck with Love and Hip Hop. I don't fuck with nothing that downgrades African American people
Big
at all,
facts.
bro. So at the end of the day, goddamn me, they use us for entertainment. And you know what? We feed into it. We feed into it. But like my man said, lions do not worry about getting accepted from giraffes. And in all fairnessness, we can say, in all fairness, my bad, in all fairness, we can say that the giraffes are lesser than the lions anyways. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck why are they worried about what they doing? You know what I'm saying? So hey, he hit it, bro.
Hey, that last point you just made when you said lion or the giraffe. Oh boy, that's a topic for another show. I just thought about genetics. We
Hey,
ain't gonna get into it today, but I'm about to write that
good.
shit down. That's a very good topic for another day. Oh man, that's hey,
Fitting in.
Deshaun,
That's a
brother, I'm
good
gonna
topic.
I'm lock your number in, man. We gotta get you on the show or something. That was probably the best call in we ever had, you know. So, um, Shandine, I know you got a couple more points that you possibly want to hit on. What you got?
Well, I mean, just to tie into what you both were just saying, like, like I said, what the wave is right now is we're taking back already what is ours, be it natural hair, be it words, be it skin color. You know what I mean? Like how much further are people not of color going to go? What lengths are they going to go to before they just kill themselves off trying to look like somebody else? You know what I mean? Like they're doing all this stuff, injections, well, women aesthetically, injections, lip injections, booty injections, whatever it may be. Like how far are you gonna go till you just kill yourself off? I mean, we shouldn't be concerning ourselves with that to begin with. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do all that, be extra tan, you're gonna end up with skin cancer. We ain't get that as
That's
far as I know.
that's crazy to me. Like how how are we as a people wanting to be accepted by someone else and we are the superior to them? Like that's like your boss, the man who owns this McDonald's, this franchise McDonald's, wanting to go down there and jump on the fries. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's just some of the passion that he loves doing. He loves fries. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless it's a passion of yours. But you have to understand you are the creator as the African American. You are the head honcho. You are the person to be looked at in this light. But yet and still, you trying to get light skin to be white. You trying to make your lips skinny to be white. It's shit. They trying to get ass shots, but the African American women trying to get ass reductions.
Hmm.
Like it's backwards as hell. Like I don't get how can you try to be equal to a lesser when you are more? Like it don't make sense to me. Like all this extra, you know what I'm saying? Black women, I love black women, bro. You know what? You can't tell me different. I have never. No, white ain't right with me. But goddamn, I'm gonna tell you something. I try to uplift the queens as much as I can. But if you draw yourself to negativity, you gonna draw yourself to negativity. If you have an image of what attracts a man in your mind and what's acceptance look like, and you want to look like that, that's crazy. But remember, they are trying to look like us for a
Exactly.
reason. It's a reason for it.
Mhm.
I'm just saying. All you gotta do is open your eyes and pay attention. It's a reason they want the big lips. A reason they want the little dark skin. A reason they wear the weave for the natural look of the hair. That's the only reason they wear weave, not for length. It's for looks. They trying to get that natural look that y'all automatically have. You know what I'm
Exactly.
Facts.
saying? They want that shit. That shit's crazy, man.
And like I said, like what are the lengths you're gonna go before they just off themselves? And it's only a matter of time. You
The
know,
links they
it's
gonna go, like they don't they don't give a fuck. Honestly, like they don't care. They out here for looks. Like they, It's like they trying. It's like we trying to meet in the middle. Like they want to be like us. We trying to be like them. Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody want to be
Well,
us, but they
there's a
don't.
lot
But
of people
until it's
there
they
who
want to be us until it's time to do some nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to be
exactly.
us. They want to be us until they get pulled over. They want to be us until they find themselves in a room full of black people. You know what I'm saying? They fucking with us on the edge. They on the edge. They on the sideline of the football game. They on the team. They on the sideline, but they don't want. They really don't want to get in the game. You know what I'm saying? They want to wear the
It's a
jerseys.
lot. I think it's more a lot of, and from any culture, it's more so about self-love, I guess. Self-respect, knowing who you are as a person, whatever your background may be, it's about knowing what that is, what your moral is, who your parents are, who your ancestors are, who your great grandparents is, where you come from. It's people, a lot of people that are like maybe they're uneducated in that fact. It's more so that you have to realize that, sure, maybe a lot of people want to be like somebody else, but who do you want to be? Do you want to be like everybody else, or do you want to be your own person?
Most people don't want to be their own person. They want to be like everybody else. But just to switch it up a little bit, I want to talk about something that's going on in Major League Baseball right now because there was a guy who was affiliated with Major League Baseball who was asked a
Mm-hmm.
question about Hispanic ball players. One Hispanic ball player in particular. I'm gonna leave names out just so I can keep it at a generalized statement. So, what he said was, or the question was, do you think that this Hispanic player can lead a team?
Mm-hmm.
His answer was, and I'm paraphrasing, no, I do not think so because he does not speak English. How can he lead a team if he does not speak English? Right? That's what
Mm-hmm.
he said. Number one, he was wrong because yes, he does speak English. Dude speaks English. He doesn't
Right.
speak English on the podium after the games because his English is not the best, and anything could be misconstrued whenever you're talking to the media. So he rather alleviate all that by not even talking much, but he talks to his players. So
Mm-hmm.
my answer to that is number one. Do you know how many Hispanics are in Major League Baseball?
A lot.
The Hispanics are the best ones. Go to Cuba. Go to the DR. Go to Puerto Rico. They have the best baseball players in the world. Yes, they
Mm-hmm.
can lead these teams. So a lot of these teams have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Hispanics on the team. So you mean to tell me, okay, yes, you may be whatever race you are and speak English, but you can't speak Spanish, then how are you going to lead this team? How are you
Exactly.
going to convey your message to the Hispanic players when it's more of them than it is of you? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So,
Obviously they understand that they still on the team for one, and they made it to Major League Baseball.
exactly. Like, you can, it just amazes me that you can listen to your dog, listen to how he makes certain noises, and you know what he wants.
Once.
Same with babies. They make certain noises, they make certain sounds, and you automatically know, okay, Junior wants this, that, and the third.
Right.
But when we talking about grown men and the language barrier, he can't lead a team because he doesn't quote unquote speak English, which he does.
Wrong answer.
If you say the word fastball, I don't care to anyone in the world. You can go to Timbuktu and say fastball. Everyone knows what fastball is. That means you about to take this little ball and chuck that motherfucker fast as you can.
Right.
So what he said was a cop out. Like basically, like I mean, people been do Ichiro been doing it for years. Ichiro led the team for years. He really didn't speak English. Of course, he
I
picked
think
it up,
it's so
but
much. It's so much. People. I don't know. But minorities in general, minorities in all aspects are just winning in general, I feel. Like that nobody minorities as we know it are of as such as blacks, Hispanics, Asians, Muslims, whoever minorities, right? But the biggest minority of all is the one that try to claim themselves as superior.
Facts.
And it's just like I've dabbled in statistics for military, any type of military, be it Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. The majority of what makes up our military in all branches of service are minorities. The minorities of such as Black, Hispanic, Muslim, Asian. We make up the Army. Like there's not a lot of people not of color that are in any type of military. If you don't have us, then what do you have? If you don't have us, you don't have an army or a navy or any you don't have an army. You don't have a business. You don't have anything to exploit. You're not going to be able to make money. Like behind the scenes, what helps you? What helps you behind the scenes as a white person? That Black woman that is severely organized and knows numbers, or that Asian person next door who knows computers, or the Hispanic people that know how to keep things in check, or how to run a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what people are forgetting. We're not the minority, we're the majority. We make the money for these people. But if we ever get to the point to where we feel like we're going to take all of that back, imagine how much more powerful as minorities we're going to be as the majority that we already are.
Thing about it is, just like what Deshaun said when he called in. I mean, we gotta unite. I don't give a damn who you are. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at other communities, look at the Jewish community. Jewish community are like this. Look at the Hispanic community. Hispanics are like this.
Right.
Look at the Muslim community. Muslims are like this. Look at I'm gonna say about 98% of other races out there. They number one, they love themselves. You don't see them out there doing all kind of crazy stuff like you see us. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but they all are together. There's a sense of togetherness. There's no
Mm-hmm.
negativity thrown at each other. You know, you got look at Middle Easterners. All right, they come over here knowing what most Americans think of them, knowing when they
Mm-hmm.
go to the grocery store, somebody is gripping their purse, knowing somebody is walking out as they see them walking in. They know all of this, and they still come over here. And they don't try to hide it. They don't try to fake it for nobody. For
Mm-hmm.
nobody. If I can, I can't even count how many hijabs. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. That I seen today. You know the
Mm-hmm.
thing to cover up their faces, their heads, or whatnot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I love seeing that because that means they not scared of what you think. That means that they have a sense of self respect and cultural awareness amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's like it's so that's very respectful, and I can't say the same about us. You know what I'm saying? Where
Right.
you got guys scared to wear a fucking do rag to go to the corner store. So now my ways got to be fucked up because somebody else think I look like a thug,
Right.
and it's just it, it
I just
baffles
I
me.
guess I
Like,
really
why do
feel
we
like
think?
now
Go ahead.
I feel like nowadays, you know, like how G was talking earlier about how he's just so, baffled by the things that go on now. What I'm baffled about is, as the generations go on, it's just like how much more fighting are we going to do? Because there's going to be nothing to fight about soon. One being because we're having children, you know, children that are probably half this and half that. I'm already a half and half. And I have kids, and they're going to be a quarter and a third, and you know what I mean. We're no nobody's going to be just one thing. You know what I mean? So what is the world going to be like? Are we going to still be having race wars because somebody's got freckles and green eyes when everybody else has freckles and brown eyes? You know what I mean?
There will always be a race war simply because there's
It's just,
plans in place to keep certain races alive. Like there will always be a race war, in my opinion.
but that's my thing. I mean, we're having children, and the generations go on. People, and there's a lot of interracial relationships in any aspect. Not just black and white. There's black and Asians and black and Chinese and whoever and Muslim, and it's everywhere. And you have these children that are going to grow up and have their children, and there's not going to be just one thing, you know. And it's just I think about that a lot. I think about that a lot. There's to me there's just things
It's something to
fighting
think
about.
about. Maybe eventually, maybe we all, or maybe the world will just come to some kind of hybrid. I don't want to say species, but ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. I mean,
It's
it's
gonna be
possible.
that way. It's gonna be that way because it's already moving toward that. It's
I
already
don't think
moving
it's gonna
toward
be
that.
that way.
People have children that whose great grandmom is black, but their mom is white and their dad is Chinese. And then who are they? You know what I mean? And then they're gonna meet somebody that's of more races than them, and then they're just gonna have another child. There's not gonna be anybody who's just one thing. That's all. That's like in a couple of generations. That's not far off if you think about it.
Well, you also when you talk about that, you also got to think about demographics and beliefs and geographical locations because there's some parts in the world where that interracial shit just don't fly. Like they may they may not hate another race, but they just choose not to breed with other races. You know what I'm saying? They breed with their own. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like
There's
what's
always
wrong with that? And
there's
that's
always
like a lot of places. You know, here in America,
that's
like yeah,
there.
we're
Well,
just a
there's
melting
places
pot.
like that here.
Say what?
There's places like that here.
Exactly.
But I'm here.
Exactly.
I'm here. I was.
That's
I'm the. It's a rebel thing to do.
here in America. Like yes, we. This is a nation of immigrants. Like we're all just in one big melting pot. But if you cross that big ass pond and we got over there to the left and the right, there's a lot of places where they do not fuck with that. So if that ever were to happen, which I don't think it'll ever happen, it'll probably be here before it ever hits over there. And I mean, the gap would be 1,000 years in between. Maybe we just
But
all
listen to
become
what you said
mulattoes
though. You
over here, but over there,
talked about immigration.
say what?
I said, listen to what you said though. You talked about immigration. So there's people that come here to America, because it's a free country. And those are the same people who don't who probably feel like free love, you know, and they could be from that culture where it's a no to not marry or be with somebody within your culture, and then they come here and then they find somebody that's outside of that. That's like with Native Americans and anybody else. You're supposed to marry within your culture, but obviously I'm a sitting one of that effect.
That's here though.
There's also so I don't think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's so many
Not
people
even
that come
lying.
here.
You talking about here
So
though. You're not understanding. You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying yes, America is just one huge melting pot of shit. Yes, I'm talking about actually go to these other countries. Go to Africa. Go to Europe and actually talk to these people and see how they actually view it. They might invite you to their homes and eat dinner with you, but they would never have a baby with you. And these are whole nations, right? One or two might leave the country and from the family and come over here and yeah, okay, I might lay up with you and have a baby. Guarantee the whole nation ain't. You see what I'm saying? So America, I mean, yeah, like
Hmm.
everybody loves everybody. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Everybody don't matter if you're white, black, brown, Puerto Rican, or Asian. They'll fuck you and have a baby with you. But Go to these other countries. They don't play that. You don't see a big melting pot like you see here. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a bunch of Blasian babies in China. You don't see a bunch of mulattoes in Sudan. You don't see that because they don't rock with it. You know what I'm saying? So will we ever become
Okay.
a melted world, blended world? My personal opinion, nah. Shit, nah. Is it possible? Yes, anything's possible, I guess. But I don't think it'll happen.
Hmm. Well, to each their own on opinions.
Yeah. Uh, so I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up the show for tonight. I think it was a,
Yep.
I think it was a good show. Um, we got a awesome call that came in. Appreciate the love, and we had some good
Yep.
viewpoints. You know what I'm saying, coming from all aspects, all angles. You know what I'm saying. So I think it was a good show tonight. So you want to close them out with anything before I bid them a goodbye, Shandy? You hear me?
Well, I think just with yeah, I can hear you. Everybody with a cultural appropriation, I would take the time to think about and formulate your own ideologies on what cultural appropriation means to you. Because everybody has a different viewpoint on it. But I guess nothing is ever really realized about a certain topic until it's it's said. So take the time to think about what cultural appropriation means to you. That's what I got.
And likes it. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this before we call it a night. Don't matter what you are, don't matter what you look like, don't matter what you believe in. All right. Number one, be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fit in to nobody for no one. Be true to yourself. Do what's right for you before you start looking for outside opinions about yourself. All right.
Right.
Two, I want to say I'm just speaking off of what Deshaun said. So unite. You gotta unite amongst each other. Whatever affiliation you affiliate yourself with, you know, unite.
Mm-hmm.
Become closer. Become closer to your brother and sister, and support one another. And stop all this negativity. Just like Danny G said, all that world star and all that shit. Nah, I don't rock with it, and I will never rock with it because it's too much negativity, not enough positivity. We always looking at each other and first thing we say is something negative instead of something positive. World star, love and hip hop, all that shit. It promotes it, and that shit of me what we be about because other people are thriving right now. Other people
Right.
are they're eating their piece of the pie. They have their piece of the pie, and we just trying to get a piece of the crust.
Mm.
That's not how we should be living. We could be far better off than we are now, and it starts with ourselves. We can point blame on anybody. Crabs in a barrel when nobody think about how the crabs got there. Yes, but it starts with each other. Once we do
Right.
better, we'll be perceived in a more positive light. But it starts within ourselves. We gotta support each other. We gotta treat each other right.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I'm gonna bid y'all good night. Tune in next week. Next week Thursday, where we got a great show coming at you. I promise you, next show will be one for the books. So with that being said, love y'all, and always, as I say before we close out the shows, keep one fist held high, two horns to the sky.